This is just ridiculous. We're going to be looking at a mock trade involving the Boston Celtics as they've had Jaden Springer, a piece mentioned in trade talks, thrown around some trade rumors. And Celtics fans obviously want to speculate in those trades. And it's a little bit difficult to acquire some players. But the name that is thrown around is Russell Westbrook, possibly coming back in this three-team deal. We're going to be looking at it and kind of exploring how this would be a bad fit for the Celtics if they were to bring in Russell Westbrook, as he generally would just not fit in with the team. All of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Velez, and you guys have been absolutely fantastic showing your love and support over on the channel. Godfrey and I are super appreciative. Want to say thank you. If you do enjoy the content, make sure to hit that subscribe button to help us get to our goal of 6,000 subscribers before the start of 2025. But without further ado, let's dive into the video at hand. Make sure to grab a snack. And like I said in the introduction, this is just absolutely ridiculous, and I think would be a bad move for the Boston Celtics if they went out and did this three-team deal that we are going to be dissecting and looking at. And this article is courtesy of Matt Levine of Sports Illustrated, in which he says the Celtics shake up their roster and land a former MVP in trade talks. And if we want to dive in and look at the article, we all know that the Celtics are in the second apron and they can't make a lot of moves. And Matt states that here, as they've been one of the best teams in the NBA all season and coming off a title last year, it seems like they've picked up exactly where they left off. But with the trade deadline looming and with the Celtics either likely to stand pat or make a minor move around the edges, the chances that the Celtics front office decide to shake things up they are only having a few options to improve. When we've looked at the Celtics roster, we've kind of analyzed this. Obviously, all those starters are locked up long-term. Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, Al Horford, they're not going anywhere. So the only tradable really contracts on this Celtics team are toward the latter half of the roster, and most of those guys are on veteran minimum contracts or play very impactful roles for this Celtics team. But one of those players that is on a little bit of a, I wouldn't say loose leash, but hasn't been given enough playing time for this Celtics roster, in my opinion, to showcase his skills is Jaden Springer. And he is one of those players that could be dangled in these trades. Now, obviously, Matt specified in this deal that it would be unlikely that this trade would go down, but he thinks that it could possibly happen, in which the Celtics would receive Russell Westbrook in this deal. The Chicago Bulls would receive Jaden Springer, and the Denver Nuggets would receive Torrey Craig. And if we want to look at the reasoning why Boston makes this move, it is for two reasons. First, trading Springer obviously saves the team a little bit money on their salary cap and helping them in the eventual luxury tax. And also, Westbrook has shown a willingness to fit into a winning team this season on the Nuggets. And if he could come off the bench for Boston to just log a few minutes at a time, it could keep the Celtics offense strong when all the stars are sitting. And I do agree that those are some valued points. We've obviously discussed with Jaden Springer's contract. He makes $4 million for this Celtics team, and being a restricted free agent, it is very unlikely with seeing how he hasn't gotten much playing time, and with players like Drew Peterson even emerging him in these lineups, and even with Jrue Holiday sitting out these last couple games, Springer not getting a lot of playing time. I think that personally, Jaden Springer's time might be coming to a close in Boston, and that might be beneficial for his game or beneficial for the Celtics as they get to shed some money. But I think acquiring a player in Russell Westbrook is the wrong move, and the reason why I say that is because the Celtics ultimately cannot play Jaden Springer due to the fact that they have so many great guards. I've broken down Jrue Holiday and Derrick White. The stock exchange are two of the league's best defensive guards in the NBA. Derrick White being the best shot blocking guard last season, and the stats do prove it. Jrue Holiday has also shown his playmaking ability and defensive tenacity, specifically in the playoffs through that Indiana series where he came up clutch for the Celtics in those games on the road to really give himself his obviously showcase for Celtics, where Derrick White has gotten gradually better, and better every single season for the Celtics on the offensive and defensive side. And we've seen the emergence of Peyton Pritchard as well this season, where he has transformed to the sixth man of the year candidate, and in my opinion, the lead front runner for the award. But looking at all of that, Jaden Springer would be a player who can't get that much playing time because his main priority is playing defense and getting that role. And for the Celtics, they could use that, but having players like Derrick White and Jrue Holiday and already being a good defensive team with stars like Brown and Tatum in that kind of wing slash guard room, it's hard for a player like Jaden Springer to kind of crack that rotation. And I do think moving off him, giving to him a team like Chicago would be a little bit beneficial for his playing type, specifically if Chicago does want to go through with those trades and those rumors of, possibly trading Alonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, and Nikola Vucevic, amongst many others. But I do think that the Russell Westbrook fit is weird. Now, Westbrook has been solid for the Nuggets off the bench, and we'll look at that in a little bit when we look at all three of these guys' stats when I pull them up. But I did want to mention that with bringing Westbrook in, he would then kind of be that fourth guard in that rotation, and that makes it a lot harder because is he going to take some Peyton Pritchard minutes? Is he going to take some Jrue Holiday minutes? Is he going to take for some Derrick White minutes? Necessarily, I don't necessarily know if that's going to even happen. And then would Westbrook become frustrated in this role, being this fourth point guard, kind of coming in and playing only sporadically? That's necessarily where I think it kind of comes down to it. I think necessarily it would be a nice addition, but the fit for the Celtics team already with where they have their money spent towards into this guard group, specifically in Jrue Holiday and Derrick White locked up on long-term deals. Peyton Pritchard obviously showing his emergence, taking that step and that leap. There's no necessarily need to add a player like Russell Westbrook into this backcourt to kind of play and try to find some minutes with this roster. I do think, though, that a player that is moved in this deal, the player in Torrey Craig being sent from the Bulls to the Nuggets, would be a nice addition for the Celtics to add in. We've mentioned this before on the channel in some possible trades, and I do think Craig could be a nice 3-and-D wing to have off the bench. And even though I have said that Jordan Walsh, I believe, can be that 3-and-D wing off the bench for the Celtics team, kind of playing that role. If Sam Hauser, we did see him have that explosion, obviously, the last couple games kind of getting into rhythm, but if he were to have some nights where he goes back into that streaky shooting, adding another player and Torrey Craig to kind of come off the bench to be another efficient shooter could be nice. Torrey Craig also isn't going to demand the ball in his hands, isn't going to require the ball in his hands. He can work off ball alongside amongst all these stars and could be a plug-and-play player for this Celtics team, truly on that wing in that position. Does he provide a lot of offensive rebounding, offensive defensive mechanisms as much as maybe Jordan Walsh does with his craftiness and how aggressive he is on the defensive side? Maybe not, but I do believe a player in Torrey Craig could be another viable 3-and-D wing piece and would be a much better valuable asset over Russell Westbrook. And I want to know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Let me know them down below. But before we leave, we're going to look at these guys' stats like I mentioned. Like I said, Jaden Springer for this Celtics team hasn't gotten much love for the squad, but he is being a solid player when he does come in. If you want to look at his stats, he has nothing really that really shines out to you. But Springer, when he comes into these games for the Celtics, he makes an immediate impact on the defensive side, and he gets those steals. And I can remember that with this Celtics team in the Clippers game just a couple weeks or last week at this point, where he was very aggressive in being an on-ball defender in that game. If you want to look at Westbrook's stats, obviously his stats are a little bit better because he has a bigger role on a Nuggets team. But like I said, if he were to come to this Celtics squad, his role would be depleted. He would be behind players like Jrue Holiday, Derrick White, and Pritchard in that guard lineup. And ultimately, that would shrink Russell Westbrook's numbers. And if we want to look at a player in Torrey Craig, like I said, kind of in the middle of those numbers, but a player at the age of 33 who is a nice veteran, who is a solid 3-and-D wing, I think could make a solid addition on this Celtics bench. And I know many others in the Celtics fan base do agree with the Torrey Craig piece as well. But like I said, let me know what you guys think. I think it's ridiculous. I don't think it's going to happen. Like I said, Westbrook could be a nice addition, but I don't think his fit is necessary, as the Celtics already have three really, really solid guards: Peyton Pritchard, Jrue Holiday, and Derrick White on this roster, and there's no need to add a player in Russell Westbrook. There is no fit. Westbrook, if he wants to find another team, he has been successful with the Nuggets. Why are they wanting to trade him anyways? Maybe keep that as he has been solid in helping them. But I do know the Nuggets do need to maybe make some moves around their edges as well. But like I said, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section, how you guys ultimately feel about this trade. You guys have been absolutely fantastic and have been showing the love. But like I said, only 30% of our viewers are subscribed. So 69% of you guys who watch these videos are not subscribed. And if you want to help Godfrey and I reach our goal of 6,000 subscribers, like I said in the introduction, before the start of the new year, please hit that subscribe button, as it does mean more than you know. But like I said, you guys have been absolutely fantastic. It is truly appreciative, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, and go Boston Celtics. Peace out, y'all.